Good morning, Kwak Brothers family. I'm here. I know I'm not Korean and I do not look like Sam, but I'm actually the right-hand man. I'm going to be stepping in as a sub for Sam today. Sam's actually on a mission trip to South Korea, so he's going to be gone for the next couple weeks, and for the Wednesdays, I'll be tuning in. My name is Joel, and like I said, I'm the right-hand man, and I want to do what I can to help you guys out. So right now, I know we're live, and we're just gonna wait for a couple more people to tune on in. So where are you guys from? Go ahead and put in the chat box. Where are you guys from? What time is it over there? I know right now we're 11 Central Standard Time, but just let us know where you guys are from right now. We're just gonna give a little bit more time for people to come on in and get set up. And as soon as we see that we're all set up, we'll go ahead and start answering your guys' questions. If you guys have questions, like I said, make sure you put it in the chat box relating to debt acceleration, paying down the debt, paying down the mortgage on an average of 5 to 7 years. Any real estate questions, Daniel's going to be coming in every Monday. So if you guys are new, this is your first time, tune in Mondays, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Any real estate investing questions, make sure you guys tune in on Mondays, 11 Central Standard Time. So I'm just going to be waiting for you guys just a little bit. And like I said, what I'll be doing, what I have planned for you guys, if we don't get too many questions, I'll go through some frequently asked questions that we have been having the last couple of weeks regarding the HELOC strategy, regarding paying down your debt, regarding anything that's really going to help your guys' finances out. So like I said, any questions, start putting them in right now. And, I'd be happy to go ahead and answer them for you. And like I said, if we don't get any questions, which we usually don't get right off the bat, I'll go ahead and start by answering some of the questions that we've gotten before. So I think right now, what time is it, Daniel? 57. It is 57. We'll give it a little bit more time. Let me know, like I said, where you guys are from, what you guys are up to. Good, I'm from SoCal. There you go, it's about 9 a.m., Steve. That's awesome, bright and early. It's funny because a lot of times I have to stay super late because we have so many students from California, and a lot of times you guys are hustlers. You guys get out of work so late, and I have to stay here at 9 p.m., 8 p.m. To make sure that we can help you guys over from California. So Steve, welcome. So happy that you're here. Super excited to be able to help you guys out with the HELOC strategy, with paying down mortgage, with real estate investing. So yeah, let us know where you guys are from. Let us know where you guys are from. We got about 2 more minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started. Andre, Chicago, there you go. We're from Chicago too, suburbs right there, represent. That's awesome. Chris, Chicago as well, I love it. Andre, we host meetups, weekends. Send us an email to info@thekwakbrothers.com. Andre, we'd love to have you in our personal meetups on Saturdays, 1 to 3. So send us an email. We'd love to have you if you haven't been there already. Send us an email, like I said, info@thekwakbrothers.com, and we love to go ahead and Catalina, there you go. My girlfriend's on here. Chicago, I like it. There you go. 10:58, we still got a couple more minutes to go.
We have 11 people watching. If you want to get started, we're ready to go.
Toronto, awesome. So we do have 11 people watching, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. We already have a question in our chat box from Olive. Olive, that's a great question. She asked, I noticed all your purchase are in USA. I'm from Toronto. Does the system work here? So yes, it does. And we actually have a list of banks that does work for Canada as well. So this strategy does work in Toronto. Some things might be a little bit different, but you can use this strategy in Canada as well. Right now, we have it approved for Canada and obviously the United States. So it does work in Canada. So make sure if you guys have any questions, if you're wanting to know more about our program, Olive, make sure, like I said, send us an email, info@thekwakbrothers.com. Texas, there you go. I love it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the questions that we've been getting, guys. One of the questions that we've been getting through our email, through our calls, when I talk to people that are kind of stuck, whether or not they're wanting to really use this strategy, is this, right? Is what if I am living paycheck to paycheck? What if my budget is so tight that right now, my expenses are higher than what I'm bringing in is monthly income? Or what if my expenses are the same as what I'm bringing in, right? Which might be a case for a lot of us, right? Right now, we're in an epidemic here in the United States where that may be the case, right? We're living paycheck to paycheck and we're wanting to find ways to get out of that. So I'll be straight up and like I said, frankly honest with you guys. So there's a couple things that you need to set up before you get into the HELOC strategy itself. You don't want to get yourself into the HELOC strategy with a paycheck to paycheck budget, so to speak, right? You want to make sure that you do have some sort of positive cash flow. Now, there are other strategies that we can help you with that really helps you get that positive cash flow to begin with right away. And I'll get into that. So I'll give you guys a quick example. The first one is, if you can get approved for some sort of line of credit, personal line of credit, HELOC, having equity in the home, then you can go ahead and take some of your smaller debts, like your, let's say, student loans, let's say like credit cards, smaller debts like that, and put it into that line of credit and use the same exact strategy as you were using, for the home equity, for paying down your mortgage. So you can do it that way. Another way to really do that and, help with, moving towards a positive cash flow, we call something, we like to teach something that's called cash flow index and cash flow recovery, right? And it doesn't require for you to go out there and make more money. It doesn't require for you to go out there and, have no lifestyle whatsoever. We want to meet you where you're at. We want to help you where you're at right now. So another, thing that you can do is, let's say that you have 3 credit cards, you have a student loan or, car loan or stuff like that. A lot of times you can get a credit card that allows you to do a balance transfer, right? And by doing so, what you do is you eliminate a smaller minimum payment that is not effective to paying down that mortgage. So by freeing up that smaller minimum payment, what you can do is use that smaller minimum payment to get rid of those debts, right? So like I said, that's the first way, is to really, like I said, balance transfer. You want to figure out a way to get rid of the really ineffective smaller minimum payments to whatever, like I said, most cases, right, is going to be credit cards, car loans, some of the smaller debts, that we get ourselves into here. So that's the first way. The second way, I talked about it just a little bit ago, was getting some sort of line of credit, getting a HELOC on all-in-one loan. And what you do is this, right? Let's say you got a student loan, let's say you got a credit card, and let's say you got a car loan, right? What you can do is, by getting a home equity line of credit, you pay those off, right? So now you no longer have a home equity line you no longer have a car loan, you no longer have credit cards, and you no longer have those smaller debts. And what that does is, like I said, it eliminates those smaller minimum payments to be able to go ahead and get rid of that. So let me go ahead and look at some of the more of the questions. There you go. Augustina, Georgia, Willie, welcome. We got Michael from Florida. Okay, I've managed to get my FICO from 580 to 665. That's awesome. Should I wait until I'm in the 700s before trying to do the first lien position HELOC strategy? So, Michael, that's a great question. And I know this is dealing with credit and it's sensitive. And like I said, we're not credit analysts and I don't want to speak and get into too detail with that. What I can do for you is send me an email and we can schedule a call, right? We can schedule a call and we can definitely get you some help with that. Because like I said, there's you would have to get approved and so forth. So we can go ahead and help you with that. But that's great. 580 to 665 in the last 5 months. That's amazing. Good for you. That's what we like to hear. Awesome. So we got that question. And what if I'm living paycheck to paycheck? Hope I helped you guys with that answer. That leads me to the next one. It's directly correlated. And like I said, Michael, send me an email, info@thekwakbrothers.com. We'll help you out with that. The next question, right, is I have more than one debt, right? I have student loans, I have credit cards, I have more than one credit card, I have this, medical bills, whatever it is. Which should I pay down first, right? That's a big question that we get, and it really has a long answer, right? And it goes back to say that there's different options, and really, it really depends on your situation, what your monthly, budgeting looks like, what your income looks like, what your debt looks like, and so forth. Now, in most cases, we recommend something, and you guys might kind of know this idea of the snowballing effect, right? But a lot of times you guys can really get misunderstood, but that interest rate percentage is evil. And a lot of times you guys think automatically, whatever the highest interest, that's what you want to pay down first. And a lot of times, guys, that's just wrong, right? So here's the thing. The most effective way to pay down, all of your debt most effectively is something called, we like to call it the cash flow index. And there's an actual mathematical formula that we use to go ahead and figure out which do we pay down first, right? I have a student loan that, is $35,000 and my monthly payments are $100. I have a car note that I owe $15,000 and I, pay $150, and I have my mortgage and I have my credit cards and I have this and that. Which one do I pay down first, right? So here's the thing. It's a mathematical formula, and make sure you guys take notes on this. You want to do this, right? Whatever the balance is, right? So let's say you got a mortgage of $100,000, just for the sake of math purposes, because I can't do it. Let's say you got a mortgage of $100,000, right? And your monthly payments, let's say, are around $800, right? What you do is, $100,000, divide that by 800. That will get you your cash flow index score, right? That'll get you your cash flow index score. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and pay your lowest cash flow index score first and work your way up. So let's say now you have a student loan, right? And let's say with that one, you're doing about $30,000 and your monthly payment is about, let's say, $80, right? Don't look at the interest rate. I want you to ignore the interest rate right now. Don't look at the interest rate. Just look at those two numbers. Divide the, the loan amount divided by the monthly payment, which will give you the cash flow index score. And whatever you get that's smallest, whether that's your student loans, whether that's your credit cards, most cases will be smaller, but you paid down those first. So, okay, I got another question here. In Texas, the HELOC not option, since we cannot take 100%, we can only take 80. That's the difference between getting 15 and 68,000. Advice. So, LaChan, Texas is super strict on their HELOC rules. The thing is with Texas is a lot of times when there's really good strategies when it comes to finances in Texas, everyone goes crazy for them and everyone starts using them and the banks just go crazy. And they're like, what is everyone doing? The banks aren't making their money. So Texas has made it very hard for you guys, but it's still possible. So here's the thing. So if that's the difference between you getting 15,000 and 68,000, that's okay. What you would do is you would do what we call a chunking method. And you could, if you're a student, LaChan, get access to the calculator. And even if you're not, you will have access to our calculator on www.debtaccelerator.com/calculator. Here's what I would say. What you would do, depending, it might be even 10,000 or 15,000 that you chunk it from, but you take that $15,000, right, line of credit and you put it towards your principal. And what you do is you use your income and that will start driving down that line of credit. So it is different, obviously, from the first position that a lot of people are kind of used to. But I personally like the smaller chunking methods because what happens is your daily average interest might even be lower that way. And because you're driving that line of credit at a way faster rate than you would if you were to do first position. So it does depend on your income, on your, on your monthly expenses. But a lot of times we've seen that a lot of your students take advantage and is more effective when you chunk it. So basically is you take that $15,000, right? You put it towards a principal payment, you drive that down, and as soon as you got that driven down to almost zero, you go ahead and you use that revolving, right? And you paid it again, which is the absolute beauty with a line of credit that you can't do with a mortgage or by quote unquote paying extra towards your principal. So we call something chunking method. It's definitely, LaChan, something that I would recommend for you to do and just, repeat. You pay down, repeat until you're done with your mortgage. So guys, keep on putting your questions in. We got some more views and keep on putting your questions in. Like I said, for those of you that just tuned in, my name is Joel. I'm Daniel and Sam's right-hand man. Sam is actually out in South Korea right now on a mission trip. So go ahead, put in your questions. Okay, here. Perfect. There you go. Love it. Awesome. So like I said, remember, cash flow index score is super key for you guys to remember. My next question that I want to address for you guys is going to be another question that we get a lot, like I said. That's really what I want to go over. And all right, we have here, I think, another question. Even if we have a bit of liquidity, you can always use. Awesome, there you go. I have Daniel's help. He's actually backstage right now helping us out as well. So we're getting his help. All right, so I'll go to my next question, guys. We get this one a lot, right? And I think a lot of you guys can go ahead and use this. And the question is, how do I schedule my payments? What is the most effective way to schedule my payments? Should I pay it, my expenses mid-month, at the end of the month, the beginning of the month? And LaChan, let me get to your question first. When you say put towards principal. Yes, I do mean principal toward your home. So you would use that $15,000 and put it towards the principal of your mortgage of your home. Yes. All right. Does HELOC have a closing cost? Yes. Kidia. Hopefully, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but a HELOC sometimes does have a closing cost. It depends with what bank, and some of them do come with a small annual fee, right? Which at the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter, compared to the amount of money that you guys are going to be able to save. It's literally insane. Awesome. So Millen put a question in here. Give me 1 second. Let me read this. Tapped HELOC of $100,000 for 15-year fixed term and utilized $75,000 to buy triplex 2 months ago. Paid rest of the $25,000 back to the HELOC. Increased rents to cover the HELOC payments. I'm at break-even point. Okay. So this is obviously, something when it comes to investing too. And we do have a video that kind of goes over, should I invest with my HELOC? Should I pay out my mortgage? So that's definitely something that I would wait for Daniel. Or like I said, make sure you go ahead and ask that question at the info@thekwakbrothers.com. But that's a great question, Millen, and we'll make sure that we get that answered as soon as we can. It's not the right time to buy triples and as I bought before 2 months. Like I said, we'll get that question answered for sure. So like I said, going back into it, how should I schedule my payments, guys? And here's what I would say with that. A lot of times, the time that we pay our bills, we can't control, but a lot of times that we can. Now, in the best world scenario, right, if you got paid in the middle of the month or in the beginning of the month and you were able to schedule all of your expenses towards the end of the month, that would be the best case scenario, because what happens is that when your income comes in, and you deposit that into, whether that's direct deposit or you use your checking and connect it that way, you can go ahead and have your income sitting in that HELOC, in that line of credit, personal line of credit, business line of credit, whatever you're using, even credit cards, obviously, whatever you're using, you can have it sit there for as many days as you can to drive down the daily average interest, if that makes sense. The most days of the month that you have that just sitting in there to drive down the percentage of daily average interest, because that's what we're focused on. You guys got to focus on the daily, right? The better. A lot of times what our students have been doing, what we recommend is if you can get approved for a credit card, right? And we call this the hybrid strategy. Get approved for the credit card, and then what you guys can do is with that credit card is pay down your expenses, and then at the end of the month, right, use that line of credit to pay down your credit card, right? And that's really one of the best ways that we do it. That's the way that a lot of students do it right now is doing it that way. So like I said, you want to have as many days. Let's say you get paid, middle of the month, or let's say you paid twice a month, or even once a month, or let's say you get paid every week. Then what you want to do is you want to have that set up to where, whether that's through, overdraft, or you are able to put it straight into your HELOC, you put your income in there, and then your expenses come, at the end of the month. If you can't do it at the end of the month, then you got to figure out a way where as soon as your income comes in, that's when you pay your expenses, you pay your expenses, and then your income is like the next day. So you want to try to set up, the key is have as many days as possible with your income sitting in that line of credit. So give me one second. I'm looking to absorb my timeshare balances. Does the home equity line of credit tax deductible? So that's a great question. And actually, the tax laws have changed a little bit. What I can recommend for you is we can definitely get Steve Hamilton, which is tax professional. He's an absolute monster in regards to taxes. And he can definitely get that answered for you. They have changed a little bit, so that's why I want to make sure that he gets you that answer. And like I said, make sure you go ahead and send it to info@thekwakbrothers.com. Guys, any questions regarding taxes, investing and stuff like that, I definitely want the expert to answer that question for you guys right away, right? And when you're dealing with taxes and stuff like that, it's obviously smarter for them to be the ones answering those questions, and they have changed. So like I said, Keita, send us an email, info@thekwakbrothers.com, and we'll get you linked up with Steve Hamilton, and he'll answer that question for you right away. So like I said, we're 16 minutes in. If you guys have any other questions, we got 21 watchers right now, viewers. Welcome, guys. Like I said, if you guys are new, because last time it was 16, I'll be subbing in for Sam for the next couple weeks. He's on mission trip in South Korea right now, so go ahead and input any more questions that you guys have. If not, I'll go ahead and continue with some of the most frequent questions that we've gotten. But you guys so far have been amazing. Those are some amazing questions that you guys have been asking. So like I said, any more questions, make sure you guys put it in the chat box right away. And if you guys are wanting more towards real estate investing questions, you guys have more questions here towards that, make sure you tune in on Mondays, right? Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And Daniel's still going to be here. Daniel didn't want to, join Sam. He already spends too much time with him, so he wanted a break from Sam. That's why he is here with us right now. So like I said, guys, if you have any more questions, make sure you put them in there. If not, I'll go ahead and continue with some of the other questions that we have been getting. Give me 1 second here. Let me take a drink of my water here. Been talking so much, my throat and my mouth is getting dry. All right. So, awesome. So, and guys, this is super important. Important for me, important for our brand, important for us, and important for you guys, right? If you guys could, it would mean the world, right? If you guys smash that like button and click subscribe, and make sure that you go ahead and click the bell icon to get notifications of our lives, to get notifications of our videos. We try to put out as much content as we can, and your support definitely means a lot for us. So like I said, make sure you guys give us a like, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, put the bell icon, and as long as you guys keep doing that, we will continue pushing and give you guys the content that you guys deserve. So like I said, let's go to the next question. A lot of you guys are new home buyers and are kind of scared to incur, this mortgage. And I get a lot of questions of students that are, really have a lot of good questions about this strategy, and they're looking to buy a home. And, their question they ask me is this: can I still do this, Joel? Can I still do this, Sam? Can I still do this, Daniel, if I have no or little equity in the home, right? Can I still do this if I got little to no equity in a rental property, right? And so the answer is yes, right? There's several other, quote unquote lines of credit that you can get to go ahead and help you guys do this. One of the things that, here Sam and Daniel do is use a business line of credit for their rental properties. And because, it's dependent on business credit, it's very easy for them to get that line of credit and drive that down for their rental properties and so forth. You can also go ahead and use a personal line of credit, right? So if you don't have any equity or much equity on the home, you can go ahead and use a personal line of credit to also drive that down, right? Even if you don't own a business right now, you can create an entity and go under a business line of credit and do it that way. You can, so that is also a possibility. And then really the last option that we kind of go for, would still, right, worst case scenario, is using credit cards. You can use this strategy by using a credit card, and a lot of students do because sometimes their credit is not there, equity is not there in a home, and it's very hard to get any sort of personal line of credit or even business line of credit. So they kind of, have to use as I like to call it, third, fourth option is a credit card. But don't get me wrong, don't get that, misconstrued. This is still going to be an amazing option. And what we can set up, right, what will help you is that for now, if you use a credit card and you help, build up your credit, you try your best to get that up, work with a credit repair or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and drive that score up so that you can get to the point where you get approved, or you can get a HELOC, or you drive the equity down to then you can get that home equity line of credit. So I hope that really is providing some unbelievable value for you guys, with the question of, what if I don't have equity in the home? Another thing too is for new home buyers, right? One of the great things that anyone can do when it comes to finances, right, that us as Americans suck at, right, is planning, right? Planning your finances. For those people, right, that are thinking about purchasing their first home or are thinking about doing this or, buying, it'd be a really good idea for you guys to figure out what this strategy can do for you guys so you can see what you can afford, right? That's always a great thing. So give me 1 second. Got a couple more questions, guys. Keep on going. I love it. Give me 1 second to get to these. Steve, they want to sell their house. My question is, so let me go ahead and repeat that. Steve, okay, I got your first question. I live in Southern California. Housing prices are high. Yes, they're crazy absurd. I want to buy a house that is about to go on sale. Hey, I was just talking about this. There you go. I got 2 options. Number 1, there's a death in the family, and the other is a divorce. Here, let me go ahead and reread that. I got 2 options. I live in Southern California. Okay, so I think Steve, I would definitely go for that property. I was, depending on where that's at. But a lot of times when families, right, are going through things, or there's a divorce or there's a death, a lot of times you can get that property on a big discount because for them, right, they just want to get rid of it, right? And, I'm tapping a little bit of my inner Daniel, of my inner, things that Daniel has taught me. Whenever there's a death, a divorce, whatever the case may be, and they're put in a tough position, you can go in there and provide value by doing that, by purchasing that home, if it makes sense, if the numbers are good, as an investment property. So they want to sell their houses. My question is, should I let them do an appraisal and then make an offer, or because they are asking me how much to sell their property for? So if they are asking you, you're in a great spot because right now you own the frame, right, which is awesome. But here's the thing. I can tell, I think Daniel's actually typing one of the answers to that question, right? So I'll have him go ahead and do that. Steve, that's a great question. Like I said, Daniel will go ahead and get that answered. He's reading it right now. He's in the chat box, so he'll get that real estate investing question answered for you. Let's see here. Dominions, greeting Kwak Brothers. Please, do you have a company in United Kingdom or recommendation who can answer UK questions? Like Daniel said in the chat box, right now we are actually working on a list of banks that are going to be offering those HELOCs and, that are approved for the strategy. So give us some time. We're working on those list of banks for the United Kingdom. They're coming soon. Look out for updates. Look out for, for us on social media. We will be getting that update out to you soon. We're working on it. We promise we'll get there. Awesome. So how do you approach a bank or credit union to get a first lien position in HELOC when they don't understand this strategy? Michael, that is an unbelievable question, right? So a lot of times I get, and I've talked to bankers before, and I've had to educate them on it, right? Because a lot of times you go up to them, you're like, I want to get a first position lien, or I want to get this home equity line of credit. And they ask you, well, why would you want to do that? Because they want to help you, right? They want to help you. They want to put you in the best position. But don't get me wrong. They want to make their money, right? And our goal is to take all that money that the bank thinks they're going to be making off you, take it from their pockets and put it in yours. So one of the first things that I would do is educate them, right? Educate them on what you're doing so that they feel safe about getting this to you. A lot of times, that I've talked to bankers and I've talked to people in that industry, to tell you the truth, right? They don't make a lot of money with these home equity line of credits. They just don't. So a lot of times, when there's no money involved for them, they don't want to help you out with it. But one of the most important things is that definitely educate them on why you're wanting to do it, on what your plan is. Ask them the right question. Ask them if you can go ahead and put your checking account connect to do it. Ask them if you can go ahead and put a direct deposit link to it. Ask them if you can go ahead and, worst case scenario, right, connect an overdraft fee from your checking account. Ask them the right questions. And if you ask them the right questions and if you educate them the right way, they'll be shocked. I mean, they'll want to be doing that to their house as well. So that's the key. You educate them. You make sure you ask them the right questions to make sure, because like I said, they want to put you in the best position, but ultimately they want to make their money. And the strategy is not really in their best benefit. So make sure you guys ask the right questions and always have that in mind, right? You're wanting to save your money. You're wanting to get your money. This is your money, not theirs. So hope that answered your question. Michael, that was a great question. Give me 1 second. This is because you only mainly deal regarding USA. Yes, right now, like I said, we are dealing with USA and Canada, but just be patient with us. I promise we'll get you your help you need. The strategy itself still works in the United Kingdom. Don't get me wrong. But the only difference is right now we don't have those list of banks that we can get out to you through our program. But if you need some more help, definitely send me an email and we can do what we can. Like I said, info@thekwakbrothers.com and get that to you right away. All right, can you explain again the purpose of loan amount divided by monthly payments? Of course. So what I was talking about, Kidia, is which loans to pay down first. Let's say you have more than one debt. Let's say you have student loans, credit cards. A lot of times people ask me, which one should I pay down first? And because there's math involved, because there's numbers involved, there's a way where you can effectively, in the grand scheme of things, there's a formula for you to most effectively get rid of all your debt, right? So it's this. So there's a formula, and I want you to take good notes, and I'll go slow to make sure you get this down, right? This is the important part. So let's say, like I said, the sake of math, because I had a lot of problems with my math teacher, and we did not get along, and I was not good at it. So sake of math, let's say you have a mortgage, and let's say you have, student loans, or let's say you have a mortgage and a car loan, and I'll actually pull out my phone right now to do the math with you. Let's say that your mortgage is $100,000, right? And your mortgage payment is, just for the sake of math, like I said, let's say your mortgage payment, can you get me a pen real quick too so I can write this down? $100,000, and say your mortgage payment is $800, right? Appreciate it. So you're going to do $100,000, right, and divide that by 800, right? And what do we get by doing that? We get 125, right? So I'm just going to write that down so that I remember. Now let's go ahead and go through a student. Let's say you got another loan. Let's say you got another, debt. Let's say those are student loans, and let's say those student loans are at $30,000. But let's say on those student loans, right, your monthly payment is let's say $80, right? That's $375. So in this case, it would actually make more sense for you to drive down the mortgage first using the HELOC strategy. Because like I said, you can use this HELOC strategy with your student loans, with your mortgage, with any type of amortized debt that you have. So in this case, right, you would go ahead and pay down the mortgage first. Let's go something with a little bit more realistic as well. I feel like that example is unrealistic. Let's say you have a car note that you owe $10,000 on, right? And let's say that you're comparing that with a credit card that you have $12,000 of debt in that one credit card, right? So let's go ahead and do the math again, right? $10,000, and let's say your minimum, let's say your monthly payments for that car note of $10,000. Let's say that your minimum payment, or let's say your monthly payments for that is, let's say $250, right? Sounds reasonable, $250. So if I do that math, 10,000, right, divided by 250, we get 40, right? We get 40. That number 40, that's what we call your cash flow index score, right? This is numbers involved, and the numbers, right? You can't argue with numbers. So that's a cash flow index score of 40. Now let's go to your credit card. Let's say in that credit card, you have $12,000, right? And let's say your minimum payment for that credit card is, let's say $50, right? So that's $240. So in this case, you're going to pay that car note first, right? It would make more sense for you to pay that car note first and then to go ahead and do the credit card. after. Keep in mind, guys, notice that I didn't mention at one time interest rate. At this point, the interest rate is not going to matter. You just want to look at the the loan balance, whatever it is, right? Divide that by the monthly payment, whatever, for the cash flow index score, whatever you get that's lowest, you pay down that first, right? Because then what happens is that now you got to, once you got this paid off, you got $250 of positive cash flow now. You got an extra $250 that you're going to use to snowball effect into your next lowest cash flow index scored debt. And that's how we go ahead and make this so effective for you guys to drive down that debt as fast as possible to get you guys, the life that you wanted, just the financial success that you guys want to have, and so forth. So go ahead, keep on putting questions in. I hope that answered your question, with the monthly payments and cash flow index score. Awesome. Excited. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and continue, you guys, with some of the other questions. What are we at with time now? 11:30. Wow, that went by fast. And there's still 21 of you guys wanting to receive as much value as possible. I will say, like I said, we love to post and we love to give value, as much value as you guys, whether that's through the live, whether that's through, our YouTube video, whether that's you guys sending us an email. We answer every single email that comes in, unless they're mean. If they're mean emails, we might not, right? But, as long as you guys are looking to get better, to strive for that financial success, to do that, we want to help you guys out. So send us an email, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and continue to getting all that value that you guys can get. And like I said, a lot of it is free. We're always giving out freebies. Go on our website. We'll always have freebies to give out, whether that's, for real estate investing, go on www.0to75units.com. And, under programs and under our freebies, you guys go ahead and find some awesome stuff. And for the debt acceleration, make sure you guys visit www.debtacceleration.com, and you guys will be able to find a lot of our resources right then and there. So, Chris, love the content. Awesome. It's my pleasure, Chris. Thank you for tuning in. The next question, right now, like I said, we're hitting about 11:30. I'll hit one more question here. And like I said, if you guys don't have any more questions, make sure you guys put them in there. My next question is, I kind of, put it in there. What is chunking, right? What is chunking versus first position? There's two different ways, I would say main ways, that you guys can go ahead and do it, right? The most common way for you guys to do it is doing it in a first position. That's the most common way that we see. What that means is that, let's say that your mortgage is about $100,000 and your value is obviously a lot more than that. And let's say that you can get a HELOC approved for at least $100,000, right? Let's say that you get approved for $150,000. If you were to do it in first position, what you would do is you would use that $100,000 to go ahead and pay off, right, the rest of the mortgage, right? And what that comes is a replacement, a first position replacement mortgage, right? And then you would go ahead and continue the strategy that way. Now, because of where we are in the market and what we think is some sort of a recession that we're coming towards, right? What we usually recommend our students is that we don't want you to get into where you're using more than about 40% of your HELOC. So let's say you got a HELOC of $100,000, right? And you want to use a strategy to drive down the mortgage. I would say try as best as you can to use less than 40%. So at this case, it would be about $40,000. Like I said, my math is terrible, so I always use round numbers. In this case, 40% would be $40,000. The reason we say that is this, right? When we had the recession, a lot of people were doing this strategy. And because they didn't have the right people, the right community, what they ended up doing is they would use close to about 80 to 90% of that utilization, right? They would use almost all of their HELOC and put it in replacement. And what this does is during a recession, the banks will get scared and they will pull out on the loan and they will freeze it, right? So you guys got to be careful. You guys got to make sure you get educated. You have the right community, the right people helping you. What we say is try to use only, like I said, less than 40%. If you can't do the loan replacement, then you do the chunking method. I absolutely love this method because not only is it so safe and secure, but sometimes it actually saves you more money in the long term. So like I said, for us, we really, really recommend using less than 40% of that HELOC to pay down. And if you can't do it in a first position, that's okay. Let's do it the chunking method, and this is what that is. What you do, let's say in the sake of numbers as well, let's say that you got, a mortgage of $100,000, right, sake of numbers, and you can only get approved, let's say that you get approved for $100,000. Let's say you get, your home equity line of credit approved to $100,000, right? So we're even, obviously. So number one option would be to go ahead and use that line of credit and pay off your mortgage. But here's the problem. Now you're at 100% utilization, right? And if we hit a recession and the bank's scared, you're going to pull that and you're going to be stuck. And we don't want that for you, right? So here's what you do. Instead of grabbing the whole $100,000 and fully replacing your mortgage, what you do is you grab those $40,000, right? And you go ahead and put it as one principal payment towards your mortgage. So now your mortgage is no longer $100,000. Your mortgage is $60,000. Look at that. I can do simple math, but it's now $60,000. And what you're going to do with your income is the same thing, that we're teaching is that's going to drive that down. But the key point is here is pay attention to that 40% number. That 40% number or the percentage rate is super, super important. We don't want you guys to get stuck in a position that is not secure, that will put you in a worse position that you were beforehand. We don't want to do that for you guys. We want to put you in the best position possible, better than what you were doing yesterday. We want you to do better today than you do yesterday. And as long as we're doing this day by day, then we are set. We are good to go. So let me know if you guys have any more questions. We're about 11:37, and I've hit most of the questions here are in our FAQ. So if you guys have any more questions, before we go ahead and wrap it up, let us know. Let us know what you guys need help with. Let us know, what your worries are, what your needs are. Any type of, roadblocks that you guys are having. We want to make sure that we get you over that hump. You guys mean the world to us. Without you guys, we would not be able to do this. This means a lot for us. So any other questions, go in there. I know there's a couple of you guys, regarding real estate questions. If anything, if Daniel hasn't gotten to that in the chat box already, just look out for an email or email us. Like I said, email us at info@thekwakbrothers.com, and we'll be sure to answer your questions. I know we had a tax question in there. So another thing, I know the tax question, let's see who asked that one. Another thing that I can do here, give me 1 second to be able to find this one. Let's see here. All right, I'm just scrolling through those questions because I want to go back to that. All right. Give me 1 second here. And like I said, guys, before we wrap this up, make sure you guys give that a thumbs up. Give us just one more like. One more like would just be absolutely amazing. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell icon. That would just be awesome. But another thing for that, for some reason I can't find that. For you who asked a tax question, if you are part of our program, if you are our student, make sure you join our private Facebook group, right? And if you have not joined our program yet, that really helps you guys on a step-by-step basis to virtually guarantee that you guys can pay down your mortgage as fast as possible. Send us an email, right? But for you who did ask the tax question, make sure you go ahead and go in our private Facebook group. Steve Hamilton is actually in there. Steve Hamilton is awesome, and he will answer that question for you. He's absolutely the best. So if you are a student, make sure you go ahead and get into that Facebook group and ask that question. Take advantage of all the resources that we're giving you, like I said. So Ricky, that's my boy. I see you in there. Awesome. There you go. We got the one like that we needed. That's awesome. All right. Like I said, if you guys have any last minute questions, make sure you put it in there. If not, continue to, like I said, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and just be updated with our content, right? Be updated, get educated. A lot of times, right, we like to call ourselves the salad of YouTube, which means that although, right, it might not be the absolute, we're not going out crazy and stuff, it's going to help you the most than any other YouTube channel out there, right? If you take it serious, you can really change your life, completely change your life, pay down your mortgage, pay down the debts, get into real estate investing, and really get the financial success that you want, guys. So like I said, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up. We're hitting about 11:40. We had 40 minutes in there. And for Monday, make sure you guys tune in. Danny will be back. Danny will be back Monday, 11 Central Standard Time, to really help you guys with any real estate investing questions. So like I said, you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And like I said, go ahead and stay updated on our stuff. Thank you so much for watching.